Welcome to Reddit Today, your daily Reddit reader. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. Somehow DeSean Jackson, Steven Jackson, Kevin Durant and JR Smith praising Hitler is getting less coverage than Drew Brees comments. Skip and Shannon just did a segment on the incident where Shannon says it was taken out of context, and that he believes DeSean has no hate in his heart, warning him to be careful, because people are hypersensitive in 2020. Wow. www.youtube.com ESPN showed an apology from DeSean after the Eagles statement. www.youtube.com I'm sure the right-wing media will jump on this full force, but that's probably about it. But I don't think it will get the same coverage, outrage as Drew Brees did. Which is unfortunate because this is a major frick-up and needs to be addressed. Update. Even softer kid gloves from Stephen A. Smith and Max. This is fricked up. www.youtube.com also. Wow. This toast is getting a lot of attention, which is hopeful. Last year I read The Work I Did, a memoir of the Secretary to Goebbels by Goebbels, head of Nazi propaganda, secretary. It goes into detail about the tactics the propaganda ministry used to convince the German public that Jews were a problem. It's very similar to the things Steven Jackson is saying on social media right now. It's frightening to see how many people are supporting him in the comments as well. Lol, Shannon literally said that Brees should retire after his comments. Isn't it funny when it affects some personally, their views suddenly change? Hypocrisy, man. Disagree with me on a matter of personal opinion. Retire, maybe that Hitler guy was onto you something. Shush, careful bud. Careful bud, people are hypersensitive these days. While also saying, the minister isn't hateful, of Louis Farrakhan. It ain't hate if you don't mind it. That's not hate speech because I don't hate it. Should we, gulp, cancel him? He should be treated like we should have treated him before. He only knows about football. Any other topic, his opinion is only as valid as your uncle or your friends. Just because he is on TV doesn't mean he knows crap. Yup, and now on the show they're saying DeSean should be suspended for 1 game, lol. If you only defend racial injustices when it's against your own race, you're part of the problem. It's disgusting how little attention the media and other prominent athletes are giving this. I'm going to specifically call out LeBron. As the face of the league, how on earth are you going to publicly call out Brees over kneeling and not acknowledge this? It's disgusting. Between China and this, LeBron is showing his true colors. Someone who only cares about his people and his bottom line. I watched the video. Up has ironically taken some of what Shannon says out of context too. Shannon explained how he called DeSean to tell him what he did was out of line and flat out wrong. He explained how DeSean told him the post was taken out of context, and Shannon said he had to explain to DeSean how even with context it's still a horrible thing to post. He also explained to DeSean the hypocrisy behind the post. Shannon said you can't fight racism while being racist to another group. Shannon took time to educate DeSean and show him his wrong ways. And you're missing a key point, Timo. DJ is being handled with absolute kid gloves, while the same person literally said Brees shouldn't play QB anymore over what may be tone deaf, but certainly not racist comments. It's a kid gloves thing. Black racism is zero tolerance, while other racism just needs to educate. He's following Laura Ingraham's advice on this one. Honestly, I don't think this is fully accurate. I think it's worth being nuanced here. The fact is that most Americans, white, black, and any other race or ethnicity, don't really understand anti-Semitism. They understand that the Holocaust happened and that it was bad, but you only need to go to a mildly dumb boomer's Facebook page to see a bunch of anti-Semitic tropes get posted. Globalist media elites, etc. This isn't the same thing as the history of black American oppression. And it's certainly not the same thing as picking a time of racial unrest in America to say some all lives matter stuff, as Drew Brees did. People should understand history. They should understand this context. They should understand nuance, but they do not. Yeah, but they're literally quoting, paraphrasing Hitler. Is this real life? People lost their jobs for texting or tweeting, all lives matters. It's actually really freaking racist when we don't give complete agency to minorities, including the likes of Jackson al. Instead, many well-meaning but hopelessly naive white folks fetishize minorities like they're some freaking shelter animal in need of coddling. Source: am a minority. Edit. Typo. How could his post have possibly been taken out of context? Lol, what freaking context do you need to make posting a Hitler quote about Jewish people okay? It literally got worse with more context provided. The context was Hitler was right. As a black person, I have to call it like it is. There is way too much anti-Semitism in our community. I assume it's because of faux intellectuals following that fraud Farrakhan, but regardless of the reason, it's got to stop. I just don't understand how we call for the justice of our own people and some of us put down another marginalized group for literally no reason, which, as Op points out, can easily be used to demonize the BLM movement, which has been doing so well. Sad all around. Love to everyone. Edit. Overwhelming was a poor use of words, but it's definitely more prevalent than it should be. As well as this, anti-Semitism isn't the only one. I was just commenting on that since that's what we're talking about here. Thanks for the awards. Yeah dude, I see that for sure. I'm Jewish and it's tricky because we feel oppressed in a different way from people of color. And a lot of us, especially in America, have only benefited recently from being white or white passing. I think there are a lot of similarities between the Jewish and black diasporas, and I wish there was more constructive dialogue in general. I want to be a lawyer, and one of the inspirations for that is the Jewish lawyers who died while fighting for civil rights. I DK this kind of ramble, but the point is the fight for equality and justice requires all of us. Much respect and love to all. Don't be a lawyer unless you know for a fact it is what you want to do. Otherwise it's not worth it. Source: I am a lawyer. I hear the Bodega Boys making fun of these kind of guys, and I thought it was just a small part of the community. The hoteps that go all Nubian Queen and think they are nice guys. And it turns out they are leading rallies. I wasn't expecting it to be so out in the open, not one player call it out. What? Do you have a source for that? Have you read his autobiography? By the end of his life, age 39, he had completely turned against the teachings of the Noi and had expanded his vision of justice for all people. Funny thing is, by the end of MLK's life he had become a little bit more militant, and also expanded his fight for freedom for more than just black Americans. They both came to understand that the racial inequalities, while real, are a symptom of a disease. That disease being exploitation of the working and poor class. A great documentary on this would be James Baldwin's First I'm Not Your Negro. That segment annoyed the hell out of me. Sharp immediately went off on Brees, but here he's borderline defending Jackson. It's bullcrap, plain and simple. He was towing the line with this one. Bone apple tail. The real answer was I'm stoned and honestly thought of a tow truck as I wrote that. Drew Brees. People should stand for the anthem. Shannon Sharp. Drew Brees needs to retire. DeSean Jackson. As Hitler said. Shannon Sharp. People are too sensitive. SMH. Basically Shannon says racism is okay unless it's against black people. Another reason you shouldn't tune into these shows when they talk about social issues, or get your political views from people in the sports world. I would think black people in America would be extra sensitive to anything related to Jewish, the racist persecution. I do not understand what is going on. I might get downvoted for this, but racism to other races is pretty rampant and ignored in POC communities. Being South Asian, so many of my peers and family are openly racist towards black people, Latino people, East Asian people, etc. Just because you're a POC doesn't mean you're automatically not racist. This is so freaking infuriating. It's absolutely disgusting. It wasn't taken out of context. He's shared multiple posts from Farrakhan, the leader of the hate group Nation of Islam. This is a group that is anti-LGBT, anti-Semitic, anti-women, anti-diversity, pro-segregation, etc. They hate literally everyone and are the opposite of what 2020 is supposed to stand for. The fact that the world isn't out against this is absolutely insane. Absolutely freaking insane. The silence is deafening. Basically, if Gordon Hayward liked an image and quote of the KKK Grand Dragon, he would be crucified by the media, and rightly so. No one would claim ignorance. Sorry, I didn't realize Hitler was bad, and that people who evoke his name positively are also bad, is not an excuse. Gordon Hayward says Hitler was right. Freaking Nazi. Cancel this dude. DeSean Jackson says Hitler was right. Be careful. People are hypersensitive. The frick is this crap? As a black man, I'll just say it. It's because these guys are black that they aren't getting any backlash. Like you said, if a white person retweets the KKK, he gets his life fricked up. If a black person retweets something racist, no one says anything because they don't want to get called racist for criticizing black people. It's at the point that some of us truly believe that we can't be racist, which is just entirely wrong. Yup, this is the kind of crap that will kill any moment BLM has gotten. Unfortunately, far-right media will be all over this and they will make some good points. It's enraging. Yup, as far as I'm concerned, if this goes unaddressed, it'll basically ruin the movement. Conservatives will legitimately have something they can point at and say, see, they don't actually give a crap about any other race. They're just looking out for themselves, and our whole movement will lose steam. This is the kind of hate that needs to be spoken up about. And racism of all kinds needs to be wrong. I feel like Terry Crews got crucified for warning about this happening. As much as I love the NBA and the players' abilities to play the game of basketball, it's becoming more and more apparent that a lot of them are really stupid. Being racist and then doubling down on the statement doesn't sound stupid to me. They know what they are doing and understand what they are saying. They are buttholes and hypocrites. Shannon putting the training wheels on for DeSean LMAO. Had anybody of any other race said what he said, this guy would be banished from mainstream culture forever, and everyone would rightfully be shaming him. Anyone with a large platform who quotes Hitler should be shamed, mocked, and ridiculed. This is embarrassing. DeSean Jackson is trash. Stephen, only black people can complain about racism. Jackson. Shannon thinks only white people can be racist, so yeah, it's sad how many people think that. It's because people are being taught that. Max Kellerman was speaking facts on First Take today. What did he say? For reference, he's Jewish. He basically said, I need to see more from Jackson before I decide how to feel, except his apology. Points he made were that him being Jewish is irrelevant in the grand scheme of right and wrong, and that quoting Hitler in the way he did was the worst thing possible from the context. He talked about black Israelites and what they were and why they think the way they do. He talked about how Jews are historically scapegoats and why it's wrong. He basically was speaking so specifically and correctly that SAS said, listen, I don't think DeSean even could think that hard about it, lol. Well, Stephen A. can suck on some cock meat. That is him blowing off Kellerman's comments and giving DeSean Jackson a pass. What, like he's not capable of thinking deeply? Why? Please elaborate, Stephen A. Whatever, just suck some cock meat. He literally said something like, well really I think he's the victim here. Yeah, he pretty much said he's more concerned of this taking spotlight away from black people than condemning rampart anti-Semitism, because we as a whole can only be concerned about a single race at any moment. You should be out of the league if you make a social media post trying to push racism and hate speech. This shouldn't be a debate in any way, shape, or form. We either need to drag these guys the same way Brees was dragged, or we need to reconsider how we react to problematic statements. Either way, our collective reaction should be consistent, regardless of which race group is being victimized. And Shannon Sharpe should be fired for his defense of it on ESPN. Props to the NBA mods for not deleting these posts. NFL mods deleted any mention of Marquise Goodwin or Stephen Jackson this morning, and we're banning people. They finally made a mega thread after the sub went nuts. NBA was doing that yesterday too. LMAO, yeah. Nobody is in the clear here. It's been crazy censorship everywhere. This coming from Shannon Sharpe is so disappointing. Him trying to deny that Louis Farrakhan is anti-Semitic is disgusting. This is like when a Fox News roundtable is discussing why BLM is a terrorist organization. You're not Jewish, Shannon. You do not get to decide what is anti-Semitic. It's a racial thing. They're just backing their own guys. Thanks for watching Reddit today. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. If you like these videos and want longer versions, check out Reddit A Day too.